First video diary based on my course that I had delivered with Wayne yesterday, which was really good around unconscious bias. So it's the initial course, which gave me some really interesting things to think about. Firstly, it reassured me on some of the steps I've been taking in my professional life at the moment to combat unconscious bias. There was some really good work on unconscious bias and the steps we could take to combat it, and it reflects what I've been doing in my own work to make sure that I'm drawing all the people and getting all the views when I'm delivering training and when I'm in a meeting, make sure I get everybody's input. These things are really important. The other thing that was really good and something I'm going to put into action, it told me about VARK and some of the work around that, same with Honey and Mumford. Whilst I was familiar with Honey and Mumford, I wasn't particularly familiar with VARK, but I understood what VARK was without knowing that it was called VARK, if that makes sense. So what the course did was it gave me a lovely framework to position knowledge I've had for many years and put it into a framework that kind of works for everybody. I also really enjoyed the work around 360 analysis and SWOT analysis, and particularly the weaknesses of those two methods for assessing competency, assessing where people are in their work, and where I am in my work. And I think if I was doing it again, what I would do is I would position very carefully. So if I was doing SWOT analysis, I would position very carefully how that goes, so to detract from those weaknesses. So I would explain to the people who were doing the 360 feedback that this is something that the receiver of the feedback will work on. This is something that will take you time, but it will be worth it. And I would also make sure that they know that it's not an opportunity to hit somebody with a stick. It has to be balanced feedback. You have to do good and bad, to save it just being demotivating for the receiver. And I would also make sure that the receiver knows that based on this feedback, you've got to take steps. So it was really quite interesting in that, and quite similar in SWOT analysis, putting in context around what steps people need to take to make sure their SWOT analysis works. And last but not least, I learned some interesting stuff about how to record these videos, and hopefully they're doing all right. So thank you very much. It's going to be a function F.